In the previous episode, Foyle, aka Fourmyle, and Robin jaunted to Rome where they left a New Year's Eve party by descending the Spanish stairs. They were looking for Angelo Poggi, a former Vorga crew member who, unknown to them, had since died. However, Captain Peter Yang Yeovil, along with his intelligence tong, was on the stairs with Yeovil disguised as Poggi looking for Foyle. At first, Gully was taken in by the deception. Robin telesent that Podgy's accent was perfect, but the speech patterns weren't correct. Before Gully and Robin could jaunt away, Yang Yovel's team took them down. In that moment, the Burning Man appeared again. Thanks to the distraction, Foyle was able to accelerate and jaunt away with Robin. As the Tong tried to figure out what happened, Yang Yeovil accidentally revealed to his subordinates his attraction to Robin. An opulent New Year's party at Presteign's mansion in Central Park attracted the cream of the clans, with each clan arriving in ever more outlandish modes of transportation, until finally Fourmyle arrived on a steam locomotive with tracks assembled just in front of it. Presteign and Fourmyle took a liking to each other as they realized they are similar men, tough, merciless, and have a passion for blood and money. Foyle met Presteign's daughter Olivia, an albino woman, blind to normal light but able to see in the infrared. She is haughty, regal, unattainable. There was immediate chemistry between them. Olivia played Foyle, something he wasn't used to, and it only made him more attracted to her. Presteign introduced Fourmyle to Saul Dagenham. Fortunately, Dagenham didn't realize that Fourmyle is Foyle. Dagenham had a new assistant, none other than Gisbella McQueen. She approached the men to speak with Dagenham and did recognize Foyle. In shock, Gully turned away and ran off, assuming that she'd tell Dagenham and Presteign who he really was. Gisbella followed Foyle to a private section of the house and confronted him. He decided to play it cool. He returned with her to party, asking her to dance. Foyle learned that Gisbella is having an affair with Dagenham, and she admitted that she won't give away Fourmyle's identity in order to protect Dagenham. Gisbella told him that Pyre is what was in the Nomad's safe, and it's what Dagenham was really after. Foyle had the Pyre, but wouldn't tell her its location. Suddenly, the first bombs fell on Terra. What will the chaos of war bring to our characters? What will it do to Foyle's plans for revenge? And what will Foyle do with the Pyre? Find out in episode 12 of The Stars, My Destination by Alfred Bester. They came in like meteor swarms, not so many, but far more deadly. They came in on the morning quadrant, that quarter of the globe in darkness from midnight to dawn. They collided head on with the forward side of the Earth in its revolution around the sun. They had been traveling a distance of 400 million miles. Their excessive speed was matched by the rapidity of the Terran defense computers, which traced and intercepted these New Year gifts from the outer satellites within the space of microseconds. A multitude of fierce new stars prickled in the sky and vanished. They were bombs detected and detonated 500 miles above their target. But so narrow was the margin between speed of defense and speed of attack that many got through. They shot through the aurora level, the meteor level, the twilight limit, the stratosphere, and down to Earth. The invisible trajectories ended in titanic convulsions. The first atomic explosion, which destroyed Newark, shook the Presteign mansion with an unbelievable quake. Floors and walls shuddered, and the guests were thrown in heaps along with furniture and decorations. Quake followed quake as the random shower descended around New York. They were deafening, numbing, chilling. The sounds, the shocks, the flares of lurid light on the horizon were so enormous that reason was stripped from humanity, leaving nothing but flayed animals to shriek, cower, and run. Within the space of 5 seconds, Presteign's New Year party was transformed from elegance into anarchy. Foyle arose from the floor. He looked at the struggling bodies on the ballroom parquet, saw Gisbella fighting to free herself, took a step toward her, and then stopped. He revolved his head dazedly, feeling it was no part of him. The thunder never ceased. He saw Robin Wensbury in the reception hall, reeling and battered. He took a step toward her, and then stopped again. He knew where he must go. He accelerated. The thunder and lightning dropped down the spectrum to grinding and flickering. The shuddering quakes turned into greasy undulations. Foyle blurred through the giant house, searching until at last he found her, standing in the garden, standing tiptoe on a marble bench, looking like a marble statue to his accelerated senses, the statue of exaltation. He decelerated. Sensation leapt up the spectrum again, and once more he was buffeted by that bigger-than-death-sized bombardment.
Lady Olivia!
Who is that?
The clown.
Fourmyle?
Yes.
And you came searching for me? I'm touched. Really touched.
You're insane to be standing out here like this. I beg you to let me take you out.
No. It's beautiful, magnificent.
Let me jaunt with you to some place that's safe.
Me? You see yourself as a knight in armor? Chivalry to the rescue? It doesn't suit you. It doesn't suit you, my dear. You haven't the flair for it. You'd best go.
I'll stay.
As a beauty lover?
As a lover.
You're still tedious, Fourmyle. Come, be inspired. This is Armageddon, flowering monstrosity. Tell me what you see.
There's nothing much.
He looked around, wincing.
There's light all over the horizon. Quick clouds of it. Above, there's a sort of sparkling effect, like Christmas lights twinkling.
Oh, you see so little with your eyes. See what I see. There's a dome in the sky, a rainbow dome. The colors run from deep tang to brilliant burn. That's what I've named the colors I see. What would that dome be?
The radar screen.
And then there are vast shafts of fire thrusting up and swaying, weaving and dancing, sweeping. What are they?
Interceptor beams. You're seeing the whole electronic defense system.
And I can see the bombs coming down too. Quick streaks of what you call red. But not your red, mine. Why can I see them?
They're heated by air friction, but the inert lead casing doesn't show the color to us.
See how much better you're doing as Galileo than Galahad? Oh, there's one coming down in the east. Watch for it. It's coming. Coming now.
A flare of light on the eastern horizon proved it was not her imagination.
There's another to the north. Very close. Very. Now.
A shock tore down from the north.
And the explosions 4 mile. They're not just clouds of light. They're fabrics, webs, tapestries of meshing colors. So beautiful, like exquisite shrouds.
Which they are, Lady Olivia. Are you afraid?
Yes.
Then run away.
Oh, you're defiant.
I don't know what I am. I'm scared, but I won't run.
Then you're brazening it out, making a show of knightly courage. Just think, 4 mile. How long does it take to jaunt? You could be safe in seconds. In Mexico, Canada, Alaska. So safe. There must be millions there now. We're probably the last left in the city.
Not everybody can jaunt so far and so fast.
Then we're the last left who count. Why don't you leave me? Be safe. I'll be killed soon. No one will ever know your pretense turned tail.
Bitch.
Oh, you're angry. What shocking language. It's the first sign of weakness. Why don't you exercise your better judgment and carry me off? That would be the second sign.
Damn you.
He stepped close to her, clenching his fists in rage. She touched his cheek with a cool, quiet hand, but once again there was that electric shock.
No, it's too late, my dear. Here comes a whole cluster of red streaks. Down, 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 directly at us. There'll be no escaping this. Quick now, run, jaunt, take me with you. Quick, quick.
He swept her off the bench.
Bitch. Never.
He held her, found the soft coral mouth and kissed her, bruised her lips with his, waiting for the final blackout. The concussion never came.
Tricked.
She laughed. He kissed her again and at last forced himself to release her. She gasped for breath, then laughed again, her coral eyes blazing.
It's over.
It hasn't begun yet.
What do you mean?
The war between us.
Make it a human war. You're the first not to be deceived by my looks. Oh God, the boredom of the chivalrous knights and their milk-warm passion for the fairy tale princess. But I'm not like that inside. I'm not, never. Make it a savage war between us. Don't win me. Destroy me.
Suddenly, she was Lady Olivia again, the gracious snow maiden.
I'm afraid the bombardment has finished, my dear Fourmyle. The show is over. But what an exciting prelude to the new year. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Really, my dear Fourmyle, are you so gauche that you never know when you're dismissed? You may go now. Good night.
He hesitated, searched for words, and at last turned and lurched out of the house. He was trembling with elation and confusion. He walked in a daze, scarcely aware of the confusion and disaster around him. The horizon now was lit with the light of red flames. The shockwaves of the assault had stirred the atmosphere so violently that winds still whistled in strange gusts. The tremor of the explosions had shaken the city so hard that brick, cornice, glass, and metal were tumbling and crashing. And this, despite the fact that no direct hit had been made on New York. The streets were empty. The city was deserted. The entire population of New York, of every city, had jaunted in a desperate search for safety to the limit of their ability. 5 miles, 50 miles, 500 miles. Some had jaunted into the center of a direct hit. Thousands died in jaunt explosions, for the public jaunt stages had never been designed to accommodate the crowding of mass exodus. Foyle became aware of white armored disaster crews appearing on the streets. An imperious signal directed at him warned him that he was about to be summarily drafted for disaster work. The problem of jaunting was not to get populations out of cities, but to force them to return and restore order. Foyle had no intention of spending a week fighting fire and looters. He accelerated and evaded the disaster crew. At Fifth Avenue, he decelerated. The drain of acceleration on his energy was so enormous that he was reluctant to maintain it for more than a few moments. Long periods of acceleration demanded days of recuperation. The looters and jack-jaunters were already at work on the avenue, singly, in swarms, furtive yet savage. Jackals rending the body of a living but helpless animal. They descended on Foyle. Anything was their prey tonight.
I'm not in the mood. Play with somebody else.
He emptied the money out of his pockets and tossed it to them. They snapped it up, but were not satisfied. They desired entertainment, and he was obviously a helpless gentleman. Half a dozen surrounded Foyle and closed in to torment him.
Kind gentlemen,
They smiled.
we're going to have a party.
Foyle had once seen the mutilated body of one of their party guests. He sighed and detached his mind from visions of Olivia Presteign.
All right, Jackals. Let's have a party.
They prepared to send him into a screaming dance. Foyle tripped the switchboard in his mouth and became, for 12 devastating seconds, the most murderous machine ever devised, the commando killer. It was done without conscious thought or volition. His body merely followed the directive taped into muscle and reflex. He left 6 bodies stretched on the street. Old St. Pat's still stood, unblemished, eternal, the distant fires flickering on the green copper of its roof. Inside, it was deserted. The tents of the 4-mile circus filled the nave, illuminated and furnished, but the circus personnel was gone. Servants, chefs, valets, athletes, philosophers, camp followers, and crooks had fled.
But they'll be back to loot.
He entered his own tent. The first thing he saw was a figure in white, crouched on a rug, crooning sunnily to itself. It was Robin Wensbury, her gown in tatters, her mind in tatters.
Robin!
She went on crooning wordlessly. He pulled her up, shook her, and slapped her. She beamed and crooned. He filled a syringe and gave her a tremendous shot of niacin. The sobering wrench of the drug on her pathetic flight from reality was ghastly. Her satin skin turned ashen. The beautiful face twisted. She recognized Foyle, remembered what she had tried to forget, screamed, and sank to her knees. She began to cry.
That's better. You're a great one for escape, aren't you? For suicide. Now this. What's next?
Go away.
Probably religion. I can see you joining a cellar sect with passwords like Pax Vobiscum, Bible smuggling, and martyrdom for the faith. Can't you ever face up to anything?
Don't you ever run away?
Never. Escape is for cripples. Neurotics.
Neurotics. The favorite word of the Johnny-come-lately educated. You're so educated, aren't you? So poised, so balanced. You've been running away all your life.
Me? Never. I've been hunting all my life.
You've been running. Haven't you ever heard of attack escape? To run away from reality by attacking it, denying it, destroying it. That's what you've been doing.
Attack, escape?
Foyle was brought up with a jolt.
You mean I've been running away from something?
Obviously.
From what?
From reality. You can't accept life as it is. You refuse. You attack it to try to force it into your own pattern. You attack and destroy everything that stands in the way of your own insane pattern.
She lifted her tear-stained face.
I can't stand it anymore. I want you to let me go.
Go? Where?
To live my own life.
What about your family?
I'll find them my own way.
Why? What now?
It's too much. You and the war, because you're as bad as the war. Worse. What happened to me tonight is what happens to me every moment I'm with you. I can stand one or the other, not both.
No, I need you.
I'm prepared to buy my way out.
How?
You've lost all your leads to Vorga, haven't you?
And
I've found another.
where?
Never mind where. Will you agree to let me go if I turn it over to you?
I can take it from you.
Go ahead, take it.
Her eyes flashed.
If you know what it is, you won't have any trouble.
I can make you give it to me.
Can you? After the bombing tonight? Try.
He was taken aback by her defiance.
How do I know you're not bluffing?
I'll give you one hint. Remember the man in Australia?
Forrest?
Yes, he tried to tell you the names of the crew. Do you remember the only name he got out?
Kemp.
He died before he could finish it. The name is Kempsey.
That's your lead?
Yes, Kempsey. Name and address. In return for your promise to let me go.
It's a sale. You can go. Give it to me.
She went at once to the travel dress she had worn in Shanghai. From the pocket, she took out a sheet of partially burned paper.
I saw this on Sophia Orell's desk when I was trying to put the fire out. The fire the burning man started.
She handed him the sheet of paper. It was a fragment of a begging letter. It read,
Do anything to get out of these bacteria fields. Why should a man, just because he can't jaunt, get treated like a dog? Please help me, Sophia. Help an old shipmate off a ship we don't mention. You can spare 100. Remember all the favors I've done you? Send 200 or even 50. Don't let me down. Raj Kempsey, Barrack 3, Bacteria Inc., Nubium, Moon.
My God, this is the lead. We can't fail this time. We'll know what to do. He'll spill everything. Everything.
he grinned at Robin.
We leave for the moon tomorrow night. Book passage. No, there'll be trouble on account of the attack. Buy a ship. They'll be unloading them cheap anyway.
We? You mean you?
I mean we. We're going to the moon, both of us.
I'm leaving.
You're not leaving. You're staying with me.
But you swore you'd...
Grow up, girl. I had to swear to anything to get this. I need you more than ever now. Not for Vorga. I'll handle Vorga myself. For something much more important.
He looked at her incredulous face and smiled ruefully.
It's too bad, girl. If you'd given me this letter 2 hours ago, I'd have kept my word. But it's too late now. I need a romance secretary. I'm in love with Olivia Presteign.
She leapt to her feet in a blaze of fury.
You're in love with her? Olivia Presteign? In love with that white corpse?
The bitter fury of her telesending was a startling revelation to him.
Ah, now you have lost me. Forever. Now I'll destroy you.
She disappeared. Captain Peter Yang Yeovil was handling reports at Central Intelligence Headquarters in London at the rate of 6 per minute. Information was phoned in, wired in, cabled in, jaunted in. The bombardment picture unfolded rapidly.
Attack saturated North and South America from 60 degrees to 1200 west longitude. Labrador to Alaska in north. Rio to Ecuador in south. Estimated 10% missiles penetrated interception screen. Estimated population loss 10 to 12 million.
If it wasn't for jaunting, the losses would have been 5 times that. All the same, it's close to a knockout. One more punch like that, and Terra's finished.
He addressed this to the assistants jaunting in and out of his office, appearing and disappearing, dropping reports on his desk and chalking results and equations on the glass blackboard that covered one entire wall. Informality was the rule, and Yang Yeovil was surprised and suspicious when an assistant knocked on his door and entered with elaborate formality.
What larceny now?
Lady to see you, you.
Is this time for comedy?
He pointed to the Whitehead equation, spelling disaster on the transparent blackboard.
Read that and weep on the way out.
Very special lady, you. Your Venus from the Spanish stairs.
Who? What Venus?
Your mysterious mask Venus.
Oh, that one? Send her in.
You'll interview her in private, of course.
Of course, there's a war on. Keep those reports coming. But tip everybody to switch to secret speech if they have to talk to me.
Robin Wensbury entered the office, still wearing the white, torn evening gown. She had jaunted immediately from New York to London without bothering to change. Her face was strained but lovely. Yang Yeovil gave her a split-second inspection and realized that his first appreciation of her had not been mistaken. Robin returned the inspection, and her eyes dilated.
But you're the cook from the Spanish stairs, Angelo Poggi.
As an intelligence officer, Yang Yeovil was prepared to deal with this crisis.
Not a cook, madam. I haven't had time to change back to my usual fascinating self. Please sit here, Miss
Wensbury. Robin Wensbury.
Charmed. I'm Captain Yang Yeovil. How nice of you to come and see me, Miss Wensbury. You've saved me a long, hard search.
But I don't understand. What were you doing on the Spanish stairs? Why were you hunting?
Yang Yeovil saw that her lips weren't moving.
Ah, you're a telepath, Miss Wensbury. How is that possible? I thought I knew every telepath in the system.
I'm not a full telepath. I'm a telesend. I can only send, not receive.
Which, of course, makes you worthless to the world. I see.
Yang Yeovil cocked a sympathetic eye at her.
What a dirty trick, Miss Wensbury, to be saddled with all the disadvantages of telepathy and be deprived of all the advantages. I do sympathize, believe me.
Bless him. He's the first ever to realize that without being told.
Careful, Miss Wensbury, I'm receiving you. Now, about the Spanish stairs.
He paused, listening intently to her agitated telesending.
Why was he hunting? Me? Alien be... Oh God, will they hurt me? Cut and information?
My dear girl.
He took her hands and held them sympathetically.
Listen to me a moment. You're alarmed over nothing. Apparently, you're an alien belligerent, yes?
She nodded.
That's unfortunate, but we won't worry about it now. About intelligence cutting and slicing information out of people, that's all propaganda.
Propaganda?
We're not melodroids, Miss Wensbury. We know how to extract information without being medieval, but we spread the legend to soften people up in advance, so to speak.
Is that true? He's lying. It's a trick.
It's true, Miss Wensbury. I do finesse, but there's no need now. Not when you've evidently come of your own free will to offer information.
He's too adroit, too quick.
You sound as though you've been badly tricked recently, Miss Wensbury. Badly burned.
I have. By myself mostly. I'm a fool, a hateful fool.
Never a fool, Miss Wensbury, and never hateful. I don't know what's happened to shatter your opinion of yourself, but I hope to restore it. So, You've been deceived, have you? By yourself mostly? We all do that. But you've been helped by someone. Who?
I'm betraying him.
Then don't tell me.
But I've got to find my mother and sisters. I can't trust him anymore. I've got to do it myself. I want to tell you about a man named Gulliver Foyle.
Young Yeovil at once got down to business. End of episode 12.